Hello everyone, we are at day 11 of Vlogtober, and seeing as how many of us are gearing up for big fall races such as the Dopey Challenge, myself included, today I am chatting about balancing life and training. Although it's not in the way you might think, it certainly is not in the way I originally thought.
It's Vlogtober with joyful miles and running with grace. It's Vlogtober.
Now, when it comes to blogging and making videos, I often pick topics about things that I'm personally struggling with. That way, not only do I help you, but I'm also helping myself. This is definitely the case when it comes to life balance. I've struggled with balance for a long time. If I'm doing really good at work, then there's a chance that my writing is suffering or my house is a total dump. If I'm kicking butt with a manuscript or knocking out content for Joyful Miles, then my health might be suffering because I'm taking crappy care of myself. If I am a fitness machine and making healthy meals and knocking out my workouts, then there's a chance that my work is suffering, thus continuing the cycle of my unbalanced life. And then you throw in something like marathon training. Yeah, we're talking serious spin cycle here. So this is a topic that I've been wanting to hit on for a long time. Up until a couple weeks ago, however, I thought I would be offering tips that had to do with habit or time management, waking early to get your runs in, reworking your schedule to better fit your life, or incorporating family into your cross training. Don't get me wrong, these are great tips that can help you get the job done. So if that's what you're looking for here, I will be sharing them later. But this video isn't just about getting the job done. It's about finding balance. And I gotta tell you, I have followed these tips before. And yes, I did cross the finish line, but I didn't feel balanced. Instead, I often felt very stressed out. Something was missing, so I was worried about making this video. I mean, who in the world am I to give balancing tips? Let's all face it, okay? Especially considering my state of mind over the summer. If you saw my latest train update, then you know that I didn't exactly do a good job managing my stress. So in September, I took a breather and went back to my daily ritual of doing morning pages. Morning pages is a very deep journaling technique established by Julia Cameron, who wrote the book The Artist Way. It's where you write 3 pages in a journal or a spiral notebook or what have you every single morning, purging all of those crazy thoughts in your head and putting them down on paper. Again, if you want to learn more about this and see a video with Julia herself, then I will be sharing a link to a blog post I did about a year ago on my personal blog. But getting back to this video, I really didn't know what approach to take until I listened to an episode from the Beyond the To-Do List podcast a couple weeks ago. Brooke McAllery of the Slow Home podcast was the guest, and she talked about rhythms, rituals, and routines. And I have to say, something clicked in my head. Don't you just love it when things click? It got me to thinking, what exactly is balance? Before, I believed balance came from working harder and doing more. I defined life balance as addressing all aspects of my life, sort of like a plate spinner, someone who keeps a bunch of plates spinning on poles, running back and forth between each one and making sure none of them fall to the ground. And the pie chart. Raise your hand if you've done the life pie chart. You know what I'm talking about. You draw the circle. You put in little diagonal lines to make all the slices, and then you write down every aspect of your life in a slice. My life pie always had at least 10 slices. Not in any particular order, but they usually were writing, fitness, work, family, Joyful Miles, home, health, what are the other ones? I gotta look at my notes. Financial, spiritual, and creative. Just like the spinner, here are my 10 plates. What comes next then? I would make a huge to-do list, marking down every single task that I needed to do for every single one of those aspects. Then I would take a week and I would bust my butt doing as many things as possible until voila, I have achieved life balance with all of my plates spinning happily in the air. And this time, by golly, I'm keeping them there. But then what happens? A project at work demands your attention, keeping you at the office late, and boom, one of those plates comes crashing down. Or you spend some time cleaning and organizing your house because you just can't take the mess anymore, and boom, there goes some more plates. Or you decide to take on a huge endeavor, such as marathon training, or you just drop your guard for a few days because you need a break from all this constant pressure, and boom, 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 there goes 3 more plates. Or worse, a life change or a crisis comes careening down the road, smacking you in the face, causing every single one of those plates to come crashing down. This leaves you with the choice. Either throw in the towel, or once again, you pick up the pieces, put them back together, try to put them on the poles, and get them spinning once more. And this time, by golly, you're keeping them there. Something is wrong here, not the falling plates. Life is full of ups and downs. Dropping plates is unavoidable because perfection is impossible, and no one can maintain that pace day in and day out. I don't care who you are. Plus, it's exhausting, right? Those of you who have tried to stand on a paddleboard knows how tiring the act of balance can be. And when you try to maintain this impossible perfect balance, you're not living with intention. You're just in a non-stop scramble to keep up with life rather than really enjoying it. Plus, when you're doing all this running back and forth between plates rather than giving each one the time, concentration, and focus that it needs, means you might be doing a mediocre job with all of them. So what is the answer here? For me, personally, it came when I listened to this podcast. Think about this for a second. What one thing is always present when you're trying to spin those poles and keep your plates from hitting the ground? What is the one constant when you're experiencing life's ups and downs? It's how you feel inside. It's how you are mentally reacting. I know for myself, even when I have all the plates spinning in the air, I feel very stressed and pressured to keep them there. And if they are crashing down right and left, I feel that pressure to get them back up. This is how I felt over the summer. Something had to change. Not life's ups and downs, though. That is beyond your control, and plates are going to fall no matter how desperately you try to keep them spinning. There is something you can change, however. And once again, it's how you feel inside. It's by figuring out ways to help you feel balanced on the inside while you're dealing with life stresses. For me, that balance came from morning pages, which I learned from the podcast is the same thing that Brooke McAllery does. Although she puts a label on it, she calls it a stabilizing ritual. See, there is the click, y'all. These stabilizing rituals, such as morning pages, helps you put the brakes on life if just for a little while. They provide an anchor for all the crazy thoughts running through your head rather than allowing them to float on by aimlessly. Other examples of stabilizing rituals could be meditating or simply taking a few moments on your front porch for a breather and a cup of tea. It could be a creative act that you really enjoy but rarely take the time to do because you're just so busy. Things like knitting or crocheting or sketching. Or maybe it's sitting in a cozy chair and reading a few pages from your favorite book that is like comfort food for your soul. Or hey, how about viewing a run or a walk as a stabilizing ritual? Amazing things can happen when you view your training as a coping strategy and say things like, "Oh, I cannot wait to go for a run," rather than, "Oh, I'm so dreading my run." Or what about yoga? That is a fantastic stabilizing ritual for those of us who are doing marathon training because not only does it keep your mind in balance, it's also fantastic for your body and flexibility, which will help keep away injury. So for me, one of my stabilizing rituals is still morning pages. Another is taking a few minutes every morning to write and plan in my happy planner that I talked about in a previous video. as well as my bullet journal, which, oh my gosh, I really have got to talk about this soon because I love it. So if you're having a hard time spinning those plates, especially now with all the heavy training, think about small acts that you have done in the past that have nurtured your soul and helped you feel more stable. Or maybe instead of an act, you can pick a specific time every day for self-care and try different things like reading or taking a bubble bath. The most important thing is to be consistent and perform your stabilizing ritual every day or as often as possible. Now, that being said, there are some habits and time management tips for those of you who are taking on the challenge of training for a marathon. Number one is to clear your plates. Training for a marathon is a huge commitment and requires a lot of miles, so know that you cannot do it all. Instead, stick with the aspects of your life that are the most important and place the others on the back burner, which is totally okay. View your life as a big picture rather than the immediate day-to-day. Right now, one aspect of your life that must be a priority is your fitness and health. After your race, you can lighten your workout schedule and then move on to a different aspect, such as organizing your house, or for me, tackling the challenge of our hideously cluttered garage. This is also not the time to take on any big projects, like Vlogtober. Ooh, this is only going to add more stress for your life, so put those big projects on hold. Number two is to establish your support system. And when I say that, I mean it goes both ways. Training for a marathon isn't just hard on you. It can be hard on everyone in your life, like your family, your friends, or your coworkers. My husband is extremely supportive and tolerant of all of my Run Disney nonsense, but even he will admit that he dreads marathon training. Still, he supports me 100%, so in turn, I make sure to support him too. This is especially important to us since I do take care of all the bookkeeping for his construction company as well as do rental project management. So I have to keep that plate spinning. It might get wobbly at times, but it's still spinning. Number three is it's okay to rearrange your training plan. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how training plans can get a bit obsessive, especially for type A people like me. If it says I have to run on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, then I feel like I have to run on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But that is not the case. It is totally okay to do your long run on a Wednesday if that's more convenient for you. The most important thing is to get your miles done and allow ample recovery time in between. The next one is to involve others in your training or your cross training. My man is not much into walking or running, but the one sporting activity we do enjoy is cycling. So seeing as how cross training is so important for marathon training, we will often go out on the weekend for a long bike ride. I get to spend time with him and I get my cross training in. Another good tip is to take your family on hikes or evening walks, which is a great thing for those of us who are training for the Dopey Challenge and need time on our feet. If you have a friend who wants to spend time with you, suggest a relaxing game of tennis or coffee after a yoga class. These are all great ways to maintain connections while still getting your training in. Number 5 is multitask. I love a good multitask. Before your run, throw in a load of laundry and start a virus scan to clean your computer. Throw something in a crock pot and then on your run, fill your soul by listening to a podcast or an audiobook. Imagine that. Laundry washing, cleaning, cooking, filling your soul, and training at the same time. Now that is a beautiful thing. Number 6 is good habits. I mean, come on, we couldn't get through this video without talking about good habits. Waking early and getting your run in before your crazy day is the best one out there. You know it and I know it. This takes the pressure off rather than being stressed out all day long because you gotta run when you get home. Now, number 7 is specific for those of us who are doing the Dopey Challenge. and that is to start your holiday shopping now. Some of our highest mileage weeks will be in the beginning of December, right when all the parties and the shopping and the baking and the cooking and the cleaning are also going on for those of us who do celebrate the holidays. So getting some of that work done now or slowly throughout the upcoming weeks will take a huge burden off. I can't say that I'm going to do that. I'll make the list. You know, making the list is half the battle, right? And number 8 is to know that this will all be worth it. Even if you follow all of these tips and establish several stabilizing rituals, you're still going to have crazy, rough days where you question your sanity and wonder, why in the world did I sign up for this race? Trust me when I say it will be worth it. And that medal that you will be earning is not just because you ran 26.2 or 48.6 miles or whatever length you're doing. It will be for these long, tough months of training. So do your best and enjoy the process, because there is a whole lot of awesome waiting for you on the other side of that finish line. And that is the knowledge that you can take on a challenge such as this and not just survive, but thrive. Who knows what you can do after that? So that's going to do it for this video. I hope it turns out okay and I make some sense. I don't know. I have some doubts. But if you have any more tips to share, or if you have a question or concern, please leave them in the comments below. Also, be on the lookout. Tomorrow, Heather over at the Running with Grace channel is going to be chatting about life change and training. So you definitely want to head over there and subscribe so you will receive that notification. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate the support. Give this a thumbs up if it was helpful. Subscribe because I have more videos like this coming up. And as always, take care and have a joyful day.